And good morning and welcome to the VSA Capital 5-Minute Morning Miner. It's Monday, September the 12th. Feels a bit like a Monday morning, doesn't it? How are you, Paul? Good weekend?
Yeah, I had a good weekend. Thank you. It does feel like a Monday morning, a little bit overcast.
We've got 5 days of, I don't know what, with chaos still going on in the world and markets really not wanting to go anywhere. And obviously everybody's sort of very sad and transfixed by the death of Her Majesty the Queen. But there we go. Let's move on to mining news today. And why don't you start off with the one which I always pronounce wrong, but I'll try and get it right today. Ionic Rare Earths has got some news out.
Yes, that's right. ASX quoted rare earth clays explorer in Uganda and Shanghai Mining Club member. They have begun the mining license application process for the Makautu rare earth clay deposit. They own 51% of the Ugandan private company, which holds the whole project, and they're moving to 60% ownership there. They've got a 260 million ton resource at 750 ppm total rare earths, which is good for a good 20 years. And there's quite a lot more yet to drill out there, but they thought they'd get the mining licensing underway. The next tenement due for renewal is Tenement 7, otherwise known as the Western Zone on Makautu. That tenement renewal 27th of November, and in order to finalize the eligibility to renew, they'll begin a phase 5 drill program over there in order to move inferred resources to indicated and build the resource still larger.
Yeah, I mean, I think, rare earths is something that obviously really interests us in the West because China has so much control of rare earths and they are vital for the EV market. I would also draw attention, actually, to anybody who didn't read the Sunday Times business section. Jim Armitage, who's a very smart journalist, wrote an interesting idea that Tesla should buy Glencore. Now, at first sight, that seems absolutely ludicrous, and actually they're not going to do it. But the concept is right, is that actually the West needs to get control of all of these critical metals, because otherwise the car manufacturers who are building all these huge factories to build EVs will have no batteries to put in their EVs because they have no supply of materials. So the concept of a major car manufacturer buying into, be it a mining trader or the mines itself, is actually very sensible, and we have to get more production and development of all of these critical metals in the West, or else we will not have an EV market. It's as simple as that, isn't it, Paul?
Well, we'll otherwise have an EV market whose price will be controlled by others outside the West, is the way to put it.
Well, the good news is I drive a Volvo, and of course Volvo is owned by Geely, which is Chinese, and so we'll be fine in a Volvo. It's a crazy world. Let's talk about one that a lot of people have loved to follow, and where there's actually some pretty interesting news, I think, in terms of board appointments, certainly, and they've also got some financing done, and that is the AIM-quoted Greatland Gold.
Yes, that's right. They've added some 3 key people into the boardroom here with a long time mine development and mine operation experience in their histories as the Haviron project moves forward with financing here. That separate announcement of 3 individuals being added to the board here, and current non-executive chair Alex Borelli will become a non-exec director from the end of this year. And they otherwise have signed a commitment letter and a term sheet for $220 million Australian on a 7-year term of in a debt syndicate by 3 Australian banks as part of the finalization of the feasibility study later this year. Wailu Metals, the privately owned metals company investing in critical minerals, has taken up an equity stake of Australian 60 million toward this effort and may raise another 60 million as well.
There's a lot of companies out in Australia trying to repeat what Greatland Gold has been done, it has to be said. Now, another one that actually is on AIM in the gold sector, I think we've released a new bankable feasibility study, BFS, today, is Condor Gold.
Yes, that's right. They have released a BFS specifically for the open pit of the La India pit for that project in Nicaragua. It supports a probable reserve of 7 million tons at 2.5 grams gold for 600,000 ounces. Internal rate of return 23%, upfront capital cost of $87 million on a $1,600 gold price. That more or less secures what the banks will be using in order to potentially provide debt finance for the capital for La India pit. And this does not include the good large number of vein sets and already identified high-grade drill mineralization on other project prospects within the license. So there's plenty more to come on this, but they want to get this La India pit financed and underway because it can then self-sustain the rest of all the other work. 81,000 ounces gold intended to produce in an 8-year life with the IRR of 23% post-tax.
All right, and let's finish actually with one of a stock that we've been following for over 10 years, TSX listed Fission Uranium, because they've got more uranium resource, haven't they?
Yes, they came out with a statement for increase of resource on the Triple R deposit. That's part of what is the Patterson Lake area there of the Athabasca Basin of Saskatchewan. We're looking at an increase in indicated tons of 21%, so that's 472,000 tons of, this is uranium in this case, not ore, but uranium. And 12% increase in contained uranium, but a small a decrease in grade to just under 2%, whereas it was just over 2% in U308 before. And this is all based on the newest drilling that came out on the R780 East and R840 West zones over the past 3.5 years.
Excellent. Let's call it a day there, and we'll speak again tomorrow, Paul. Thanks.
Very good. See you then.